MCE 2323, Manufacturing Technology 1 in Fujairah, UAE. How I converted a manufacturing course into a 5Es module with the help of AI. From 276 traditional lecture slides to 274 fully redesigned 5Es inquiry-based slides with complete assessment banks, 2 versions across 5 CLOs, verified question banks, and virtual simulations. All in a single Claude conversation. Lecturer, Dr. Irfan Hilmi. Institution, HCT Fujairah, UAE. Duration, weeks 1 to 14. AI partner, Claude by Anthropic. And the 5 phases that shape it all: engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. Part 1. The challenge. The problem with traditional lecture slides. Passive learning. Students received information, but were never prompted to investigate, question, or apply concepts. Image-only slides. Many held only diagrams. No text, no context, and no analysis prompts. No UAE context. Zero connection to Fujairah, Kaizad, Barouj, Emirates Steel, or the wider Gulf industry. No scaffolding. Slides jumped straight to content. No prior knowledge activation, no curiosity building. And an assessment gap. Questions tested recall only when the CLOs required analyze. So the questions did not match. The key insight: the slides existed, but the learning journey did not. Part 2, files uploaded, 9 files to start the project. First, the lecture slide decks, 7 PowerPoint files. Week 1, CLO 1, manufacturing processes. Weeks 2 and 3, CLO 1, lean manufacturing. Weeks 4 and 5, CLO 2, metal casting. Weeks 6 and 7, CLO 3, metal forming. Weeks 8 and 9, CLO 3, sheet metal. Weeks 10 to 12, CLO 4, plastic forming. And weeks 13 and 14, CLO 5, joining processes. Then the reference documents, the course assessment specification, and the 5Es Instructional Practices Guidance Framework. In total, 9 files, 276 slides of input across 5 CLOs, and 1 guiding instruction for all 5. Do not remove any content, just modify it into the 5Es approach. Part 2. The conversation, Exchange 1. The first message as the CLO 1 conversion begins. On the 19th of March 2026, I attached the first PowerPoint and wrote, "Convert these slides into new 5Es-based lecture notes using the 5Es Instructional Practices document as a guide and course leaf for CLO 1 coverage. Also develop a quiz between topics." Claude replied, "Reading the PPTX skill and extracting every slide's content. I'll audit each slide, map them to the 5Es, engage, explore, explain, elaborate, evaluate, and build the full deck with embedded quizzes." What Claude did first: it read the skill guide before writing any code. It extracted all slides, pulling every slide's text content. It audited the image-only slides, flagging those with no text for content recovery. And it mapped each one to the correct E-phase. This single prompt established every rule that carried forward to all 5 CLOs: 5Es structure, UAE context, embedded quizzes, and no content removal. Part 2. The conversation, Exchange 2. The CLO 3 upload with the same approach applied. At 11:40, I sent the metal forming deck. Using the same approach, do the same for CLO 3. Do not remove any content, just modify it into the 5Es format. Claude replied, "Good," extracting and auditing all slides before building. Every image-only slide will be expanded into full text content with the underlying engineering concept fully explained. The CLO 3 topics covered: rolling, hot and cold rolling, grain refinement and oxide scale; forging, open die, closed die, and coining with grain flow analysis; extrusion, direct versus indirect, container friction and die design; and sheet metal, blanking, bending, deep drawing, and progressive dies. CLO 3 spans weeks 6 to 9, 57 original slides in a steel blue palette, covering bulk deformation and sheet metal working. Part 2, Exchanges 3 and 4. CLO4 and CLO5 uploaded. At 13:05, I sent the plastic forming deck with the same instruction. Do not remove any content, just modify it into the 5Es approach. Claude replied, CLO4 complete. 40 slides in a forest green and teal palette, covering extrusion, injection molding, thermoforming, rotational molding, and product design for UAE installations. Then at 14:10, the joining process deck with the same instruction. Claude replied, CLO5 complete. 45 slides in a deep red and charcoal palette, covering SMA, GMA, TIG, OAW, weld defects, NDT, brazing, soldering, and adhesive bonding. Part 3. The framework. The 5Es inquiry-based learning model, originally developed by Roger Bybee in 1987. Every week was restructured into 5 phases, so students construct knowledge rather than passively receive it. Engage, hook, and activate. Think, pair, share. UAE industry scenarios and questions that build curiosity before any content. Explore data. Investigate. Product matching, process identification, and peer discussion before any explanation. Explain. Teach content. All original content preserved, including definitions, processes, advantages, limitations, and applications. Elaborate. Apply to the UAE, design tasks in Fujairah, KZAD, and Gulf industry, with cost calculations and real decisions. And evaluate. Quiz and key, 4 analyze level questions, with a complete answer key embedded in every weekly deck. Part 4. The conversation on assessment. The first assessment requirements, sent at 14:20, with the same rules, develop CLO1 questions. 3 fill in the blank, Q1 to Q3, 5 points each, and 2 essays, Q4 and Q5, worth 9 and 10 points, with answers. For the essays, include a mark breakdown. The question level is Analyze on Bloom's taxonomy and must follow the 5Es structure. Is it clear? Claude replied, yes, very clear. Building Q1 to Q3 with 1 to 2 sentence UAE scenarios, plus Q4 and Q5 structured as 5Es sub-questions, A through E, with full mark schemes at analyze level. The rules established in this message: fill in the blank, scenario-based at analyze level, essays, 5Es structured, with sub-questions A to E, a mark breakdown where each essay part has a defined allocation, Bloom's level analyze so students must reason, not recall, and 2 versions, V1 and V2 per CLO, for academic integrity. Part 4. Refinement, Corrections 1 and 2. Correction 1 at 14:35. The fill-in-the-blank section should have only 1 question. Claude. Understood. 1 blank per question, not multiple. Revised immediately across all 3 questions. Correction 2 at 14:44. The fill-in-the-blank answer should be only 1 or 2 words, maximum 3. Claude. Got it. The scenario stays analyze level and complex, but the answer is 1 to 3 words. The 5 points reflect the difficulty of the reasoning required to reach that short answer. Part 4, Corrections 3 and 4, the final rules locked in. Correction 3 at 14:52. The maximum length of each question should be only 1 or 2 sentences. Please fix it. Claude. Fixed. 1 to 2 sentence scenarios only, with 1 to 3 word answers at analyze level. All 3 regenerated immediately. Correction 4 at 15:01. Only cover CLO1 topics. Please refine. Claude. Revised. Q1 to a surface processing operation, Q2 to overproduction among the lean wastes, and Q3 to DFMA, all strictly within the CLO1 taxonomy now. Part 5, Deliverable 1, 5 complete 5Es lecture decks. CLO1, Manufacturing and Lean, weeks 1 to 3, 71 slides. CLO2, Metal Casting, weeks 4 and 5, 47 slides. CLO3, Metal Forming, weeks 6 to 9, 57 slides. CLO4, Plastics Manufacturing, weeks 10 to 12, 54 slides, and CLO5, Joining Processes, weeks 13 and 14, 45 slides. Every deck follows the same 5 phases: Engage with UAE hooks every week. Explore with activities before explanation. Explain with all content preserved. Elaborate with UAE tasks and calculations. And evaluate a 4-question quiz with an answer key. Part 6, the conversation on question banks, generating 2 versions across 5 CLOs. At 1510, generate 2 sets of questions for CLO 1, version 1 and version 2, using the same rules. Fill in the blank, Q1 to Q3, 2 points each, and essays, Q4 and Q5, 7 points each. Claude replied, built 2 versions for CLO 1. Each fill-in-the-blank uses a 1 to 2 sentence analyze scenario with a 1 to 3 word answer. Each essay runs A through E, following the 5 E's, with a full mark scheme, both verified against the lecture notes. The assessment structure per CLO, CLO 1, fill in the blank plus essay, 20 points. CLO 2, 18 points. CLO 3, Q10 to Q14 plus essays, 24 points. CLO 4, 18 points. And CLO 5, 20 points. Part 6, the verification request at 1630. Verification. Make sure all answers are covered in the lecture notes for CLO 1 to 5. Revisit all generated questions for both versions and verify the answer references in the lecture notes. Claude replied, cross-reference complete. Found 4 issues. CLO 2 version 2, 3 questions reference content not in the lecture notes. CLO 3 version 2, 1 question referenced a CLO 1 topic. All 4 revised. Final. CLO 1 clear, CLO 2 clear with 3 revised. CLO 3 clear with 1 revised. CLO 4 and CLO 5 clear. Why this step matters. Every answer must trace to a specific slide in the lecture notes. If it does not, the question is revised, not the lecture notes. Over 50 questions checked, 4 fixed, 100% verified. Part 7, Quality Assurance, every error found and corrected. Error 1, CLO 2 version 2, question 8D, resin-bonded cores changed to dry sand cores. Resin-bonded cores were never covered in CLO 2. Only green sand and dry sand were taught. Error 2, question 9D, permanent mold casting changed to a sand casting comparison. Gravity permanent mold casting was never explicitly named or explained in any CLO 2 note. Error 3, question 9E, lost foam casting changed to sand versus investment. Lost foam casting is entirely absent from CLO 2 notes and the original slides. And Error 4, CLO 3 version 2, question 16, D, laser engraving changed to a cut and weld comparison. Laser engraving appears in CLO 1 process classification only and is not covered anywhere in CLO 3. Part 7, QA status, all CLOs cleared. Across version 1 and version 2, CLO 1, all clear and all clear. CLO 2, all clear and 3 revised. CLO 3, all clear and 1 revised. CLO 4, all clear. CLO 5, all clear. The principle, every answer must trace to a specific slide. If it does not, the question is revised, not the lecture notes. And the 3-step QA protocol. 1. Slide QA, from PPTX to PDF to JPEG, with a visual inspection of every slide. 2. Question QA, each answer traced to its lecture notes section. And 3. Revision, all flagged items replaced before final delivery. Part 8. Question examples. Fill in the blank for CLO 1, 2, and 3. The rule, a 1 to 2 sentence UAE scenario, an answer of 1 to 3 words at analyze level, 2 points each. CLO 1, a UAE food packaging plant runs its press 8 hours daily on a forecast schedule, making 4,000 trays regardless of orders, and 2,200 units pile up weekly. The answer, overproduction. CLO 2, a foundry inspector finds small rounded voids through the thickest casting section, caused by hydrogen gas trapped when the metal solidified too quickly to escape. The answer, porosity. CLO 3, an operator bends a steel plate to exactly 90 degrees in a V-die, but after the punch lifts, the angle opens to 95 degrees as the plate's elastic strain partially recovers. The answer, spring back. Part 8 continued, fill in the blank for ClO4 and 5. ClO4, a polymer melt exits the extruder die, and the pipe surface shows fine transverse cracks immediately, caused by the shear stress at the die wall exceeding a critical threshold. The answer, shark skin. ClO5, an inspector applies a red dye to a stainless steel weld, wipes it clean, then applies white developer. Red indications appear, revealing surface-breaking cracks invisible to the eye. The answer, liquid penetrant. What makes these analyze level? Students must reason from the scenario to identify the specific phenomenon by name, not simply recall a definition. Part 8, an essay example. ClO2 version 1, 7 points. The scenario. A UAE aerospace manufacturer needs nickel superalloy turbine blades with complex internal cooling passages, a tolerance of plus or minus 0.075 millimeters, and a mirror finish. A second order requires 600,000 aluminum can lids per day, with thin walls and precise thread ring dimensions. Select and justify the correct casting process for each product. The 5 E's sub-questions. A. Engage. Expendable versus permanent mold, 1 point. B. Explore. Why sand casting fails the blade, 1 point. C. Explain investment casting to plus or minus 0.075 millimeters, 2 points. D. Elaborate. Justify die casting at 600,000 a day, 2 points. And E. Evaluate. The claim, use sand casting to save cost, 1 point. Why this is analyze level. Compare categories for accuracy. Analyze limitations against the blade's requirements. Link each process step to a quality outcome. Apply 4 criteria to justify a manufacturing decision. And evaluate a flawed argument, separating material from performance. 2 versions per ClO, 5 ClOs covered. Part 9. By the numbers. The complete project statistics. 274 5Es slides produced from 276 original slides input, 14 weeks covered. 10 question sets, 2 for each of the 5 ClOs, over 50 total questions, and 4 errors fixed. From 276 uploaded slides to 274 redesigned 5Es slides to over 50 verified analyze level questions and complete YouTube-ready resources, all in a single Claude conversation. Part 10. Reflections, what Claude did well. Consistent structure. It held the exact same 5Es structure across all 274 slides without deviation. UAE scenarios at scale, generating accurate scenarios from Fujairah foundries, Kaizad plants, and offshore platforms. Multi-domain context, holding pedagogy, engineering content, and Node.js code in context throughout. Transparent error detection. When asked to verify, it flagged all 4 of its own errors openly. Prompt adaptability, applying format constraints from short prompts without regenerating prior work. And code and QA, it wrote, ran, and debugged the PowerPoint scripts for all 5 ClOs, then inspected every slide. Part 10. What required the lecturer's judgment? Recovering image content. Identifying image-only slides and restoring their engineering content from domain knowledge. Validating UAE examples, confirming plant names, regulations, and Gulf examples were factually accurate. Approving assessment design, the final call on mark distribution, question scope, and 5Es essay structure. Judging complexity, recognizing when a scenario was too complex for its allocated marks. Defining analyze level, deciding what analyze means for this specific course, and setting direction, scope, ClO sequence, design language, and timeline. Claude accelerates the execution. The lecturer still provides the educational vision. Part 11. For you, the exact prompts, copy these. 1. Upload and convert. Using the same approach, do the same for ClOX. Do not remove any content. Just modify it into the 5Es format and attach the PowerPoint. Repeat once per ClO. ClO1's structural decisions carry forward automatically. 2. Generate questions. Generate 2 sets of questions for CLOX, version 1 and version 2, using the same rules. Fill in the blank 2 points each, and essays 7 points each. Adjust the question numbers and point values to match your scheme. 3. Verify content. Verification. Make sure all answers are covered in the lecture notes for CLO 1 to 5. Verify the answer references for both versions. Run it once after all CLOs are done. Claude checks its own output against its own notes. And 4. Refine format. The maximum length of each question should be only 1 or 2 sentences, or the answer should be only 1 or 2 words, max 3. Short corrections. Claude applies them consistently to all remaining items. Part 11. 5 prerequisites for success. 1. Upload all slides up front. Include every week of a CLO before starting. Partial uploads lead to incomplete audits. 2. Establish the design in CLO 1. Every later CLO inherits the palette, slide types, and structure. Set the pattern once and apply it 5 times. 3. Be explicit about every constraint. Max 2 sentences, a 1 to 3 word answer, analyze level only, CLO topics only, say it once, and Claude applies it throughout. 4. Always run a verification pass. Ask Claude to cross-reference every answer against the notes it built. This step found all 4 errors. And 5. Use short corrective prompts. 3-word corrections beat regenerating from scratch because Claude holds all the context. Thank you. The future of module design is collaborative. AI does not replace the educator. It removes the barriers between a great idea and its execution. This conversion took days, not months, because Claude handled the implementation, while the lecturer provided the vision. 5 PowerPoint files, 274 slides across 5 CLOs, 10 question sets, 2 versions for each of 5 CLOs, verified, fully repeatable, any module, any university, designed with Claude by Anthropic. The course, MCE 2323, Manufacturing Technology 1. Lecturer, Dr. Irfan Hilmi, Fujairah, UAE. Framework, 5 E's, Inquiry-Based Learning. Thank you for watching.